Hello there. Thanks for watching this video. Today I'm going to talk about Matthew 5:14. It's one of the first Bible verses that I really ever learned when I really started to getting into reading the Bible. So I'm going to read this to you. It says, well, actually it's 14 through 16. Sorry, Matthew 5th chapter, 14th verse through 16th verse. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. So, I'm not really that great at memorizing Bible verses, but Matthew 5:16 is one that I did memorize, and I just really took it to heart. And I think that's really important now. This verse came to mind today because we really do live in a very, very dark world right now. Yesterday I heard a story. I read about it on Instagram, and it was about a little girl. I think she was in Mississippi, and she's an elementary school age girl, and she committed suicide by hanging herself. I'm not going to give the name because I read about this on Instagram. You always got to take that with a grain of salt. You don't even know if it's true, but nonetheless, I didn't Google the girl's name to see if I could find like a news bulletin about it or something, but that was probably about the third or fourth, maybe even fifth story I've heard this year in 2018 about an elementary school age child committing suicide. And I just think, regardless of what was going on when I was that age, it would not have been a thought in my head to do something like that. So how did these kids even know this? That in and of itself tells you what a dark world we are living in. So we really need to be a light out here. Those of us who believe in Christ, we really need to be a light, because I honestly believe that all good things of this world really are from Christ and his inspiration. And without that, it's just pretty much evil and unpleasantness. So Matthew 5, I read it a little bit before I started this video, and it's really a pretty interesting chapter. The Sermon of the Mount is there, and I won't get into that right now, but that's always really an encouraging passage to read. And it also talks about salt and light, the passage about you are the salt of the earth. I'll go ahead and just read that. Matthew 5:13. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men. And in my Bible, at the bottom, it has little study notes. And I'm just going to read those study notes to you that are in my Bible. It says, Matthew 5:13, just a little notes. If a seasoning has no flavor, it has no value. If Christians make no effort to affect the world around them, they are of little value to God. If we are too much like the world, we are worthless. Christians should not blend in with everyone else. Instead, we should affect others positively, just as seasoning brings out the best flavor in food. And then here are the notes for 5:14 through 16. Can you hide a city that is sitting on top of a hill? Its light at night can be seen for miles. If we live for Christ, we will glow like lights, showing others what Christ is like. We hide our light by 1, being quiet when we should speak. 2, going along with the crowd. 3, denying the light. 4, letting sin dim our light. 5, not explaining our light to others. Or 6, ignoring the needs of others. Be a beacon of truth. Don't shut your light off from the rest of the world. So really, that's kind of a message to kind of be a missionary. And I think that when people talk about you know, kind of being a light for others. They have a lot of grand notions about that. But I don't really think it needs to be that way. I think that it's really simple. I think start with your family, start with your circle of friends, start with coworkers and people that you touch every day, people that you say you care about. Just really show people that you care and do what you can to just try and support those around you, and be inspired by Christ while you're doing all of that and His Word, because it's a dark world out here. It's unfortunate. So many people just simply live for self. And I kind of feel like that's kind of going down a rabbit hole when everything is about you. I don't feel like you'll ever completely be satisfied in that. So, anyway, that's all I have to say. Just try and be a light to everybody around you, especially I would say, I don't have children, but people who are parenting young children, especially be a light to children. And that probably seems obvious, but I just really think it's a really tough time to be trying to grow up right now. I really think a lot was different when I was much younger. And, I was in elementary school in the 80s, and I look at some other programming that was coming on when I was young. I mean, it was such a simple time. So I don't think that parents really had to be as engaged or as intentional in things. So, yeah, just be a light in this dark world and do your best. And I will read it again just to reinforce the message. Matthew 5:14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven.